What is up, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing well. I'm Brema, and in today's episode, we'll be doing a how-to video. This one's how to screen print on denim pants. So I'll be showcasing everything from like my design process to how I get the graphics ready, a mock-up of exactly what I'm trying to accomplish, and then kind of a little bit of like how to export the file and get it ready for screen. And then finally getting into the hands-on experience of like screen printing these denim pants. And I'll be sharing some of like my learning over the years, some things that I've picked up that's made it a little bit easier to screen print on these different, a different type of garment. Like denim isn't like a regular thing that a lot of people print on. I feel like screen printing has just been like pushed onto just like t-shirt and hoodies, but I feel like the art form could be explored in different arrays of things. We've screen printed on shoes before. We love screen printing on denim. You could screen print on cardboard. You could on a car, any surface literally. So let's not limit screen printing to just t-shirt. Let's try to find ways to definitely like push the art form and just like experiment with the art form. So hope you guys enjoy this episode. Hope you guys learn a thing or two from this that you could apply to your work or like your brand or whatever it is that you're working on. Again, enjoy this episode. All right, guys, so for this portion, we'll be going over the graphic. So the graphic that I'll be screen printing today is this, one of our staple graphics. It's a 2-color, but since I'm only screen printing on a black pair of denim pants, I only need just one. So it's going to be this gray tone. So of course, when you're exporting a graphic, you just want to make sure this is black. So when you print it on a transparency, it's black, and then you could choose whatever ink you want to. So if I want to print like a red ink or like a white or blue, whatever, I could do that once I have my screen ready. But in preparation for the screen, you usually want to make sure everything is black, is exported as a black screen. And for me, to make sure that nothing changes with my artwork, I'll save it as PDF. So in that form, like when I send it out to a printer, they'll just print it and it'll stay the same size. And a lot of times I know like with a lot of people, like sometimes even, this is something I've struggled with too in the past, where I'll like save a graphic with a certain type of font and not save it as PDF. And then when they pull it up on their computer, they don't have that font. So it'll just default to whatever existing font they have. And you don't want that with your files. So you want to just make sure you save everything as PDF, so there's no changes that happens throughout the process of them printing the transparency. So this is how export as PDF, but I always try to like have a reference to like what I'm working on. So it's going to be like the denim, and the print is going right over the two seams. So I'm like putting everything together and then printing it all at once. And you could see it's very simple. I like to like keep neutral tones and like colors in mind when I'm creating for the brand, especially just to make sure everything is kind of cohesive and there's no like just random color placements. But sometimes though, I do enjoy, you know, experimenting here and there, but like for products, we usually try to make sure everything seems a bit mature and like cohesive. So yeah, we'll go from here. The next step is of course getting the transparency, getting the screens made. If you don't have the capability to do that in-house, you could send it out to a place that will do that for you. We have a lot of videos on our channel referencing from like how to screen print, and I'll link it down below if you want to learn how to get the transparency and burning the transparency and making the screen. We have videos that will show you how to do that. But for this one, I just want to make it brief. I want to make it very specific to just printing on denim pants. So the next stage is going to the screen printer, and we'll see you guys there. All right, guys, so here are my screens. So 2 screens. The both are going to be gray. I've used these in the past. Again, that's why they have ink on them. But I'm gonna set these up on here. And if you don't have like a 6-color, it doesn't really matter. You could just use a 1-color setup, or even just like putting the garment straight flat and just screen printing with just a screen by itself. You can just place it right on top, as long as you have maybe like a table. That's how I started screen printing when I didn't have the money to buy a large setup like this. But It does make it, of course, like easier, but you could also accomplish the same sort of like quality and style with using just the screen by itself. All right, guys, so I have the screen set up right now, and one thing that I usually like to do is print a test print first. And for these pants, I'll usually like leave the test print on the board. I won't take it off, and I'll use it as a reference. But as far as like everything that you guys need, it's just, you know, the screen is the most essential, like, you know, ink, squeegee, and a heating unit. Right now, we don't have a conveyor, you know, belt, so we're using just the flash cure. This one actually cures it all the way through. And if you don't have that, you could use a blow dryer. Just make sure it gets hot. There's different ways to like dry these, as long as like, you know, you could blow out hot air, and the type of ink you use. If you use water-based ink, the print will probably not be very visible, but you could just air dry that. I will link everything below, and yeah, we'll just get right into the test print. And I call this like my template, because this is where my print's gonna fall every time. And especially with these denim pants, since I'm just laying everything on top. Best practices when you're printing on a pair of like pants, you usually wanna have a sleeve board or like a leg board that's like skinny, that you could just put you could slide the leg opening through and print right on top. So for example, so in the future, this is something that, you know, we'll use for either sweatpants or like denims if we're printing small prints like that. But since this print is bigger, my thing is with all of this is just problem solving, finding out like, okay, I want to accomplish this type of print, then starting to think like, okay, how can I accomplish that? And for me, this is screen printing is basically problem solving and seeing how you could transfer your image, you know, through the art of screen printing onto your garment. So for me, I'll just use this. I'll show you guys what that looks like. So right away, since it's a one color, it's pretty simple. You know, flood the screen. Some people will pull, but I like to push, just because, I don't know, that's how I've been doing it, and it's easier for me, pushing. So this image doesn't really have to be perfect, because I'm just using it as a template. So like that already, this looks really good. I'm gonna dry it, and then every time I come back, I'll just lay the pants here. I'll move them however I want the print to go on the pair of pants. Since I'm doing multiple, it's good to have like this reference so I could come back to it every time. So everything's kind of consistent, versus like if I was eyeing it, it would, of course, I'll have like prints not be consistent throughout like the whole 15 or 20 pair of denim that I'm printing for production. All right, so this is my reference point right here. This is my template. Next thing, you know, the material, like the garment you want to print on. Today, I mean, we're printing on denim. So the way I go about this is just placing this right on top. I know I want the print to be on both legs. And this is where like the template comes in handy, because then I get a clear idea of like where the print's gonna fall on the denim. So right there, this looks pretty good. I know I want my print to be like around, you know, this part of my legs, so I'm just positioning it that way. And then since it's going right over on both legs, you could see it's gonna be, the area of print is going to be here. And right away, you know, like the rule with screen printing is trying to make sure everything is flat. So, you know, printing on denim, you know, pants aren't really the flattest surface compared to a t-shirt. A t-shirt could just lay flat on there. But here you could see there's a few bumps along the way. And I'll show you guys how I'm able to achieve printing over this. So since I have my garment down, my placement, the next thing is, of course, laying the screen down, flooding. So right away, just by visuals, you could see that the bump is showing already here. So the way I go about this is printing sideways. So I like to make sure I flood, and then I come from the side here, and then I just do a little bit more flooding, and then my next step is I'm just pushing, clearing the ink, and the applying pressure, pushing is allowing the ink to transfer onto the garment. And just by visuals, you could also see the pattern of the pants and how the ink is going to get received on the denim. It's right illustrated right there. So I'll just do a few more pushes. Like, to me, that looks good. But sometimes, just give me a second. So one of my favorite thing that I like to use is these like smaller squeegees. These allow me to get on like some of the creases here, and like it gives me way more control than the bigger squeegee. I know sometimes this is something that is frowned upon, but like, again, as I said, screen printing is all about like problem solving. And for me, my problem right now is trying to make sure I could transfer this image onto the pair of pants. So I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure that happens in a consistent manner. So I'm using these smaller squeegees, which give me way more control to print on the denim. So that looks pretty good to me. You know, the next step is just lifting right up, and as you can see, it looks really good. Even like on the creases, of course, you could see like this line that's in there. You can't really escape that, and that gives it character too. For me, a lot of like my favorite prints are the ones that don't come out perfect, and there's some distressing onto them. But so far, this looks really good. And then the next step is just putting it under the heater and curing it 320 degrees. And I know that by measuring it with this flash, with this temperature, infrared temperature. One thing that I wanted to mention too, like this gray here, I didn't buy this ink, I just mixed it. So using, again, same problem solving, like I want to print gray on black. I don't have gray, so let me just mix white and black and try to achieve a color that's desirable for me. So that's the gray. And yeah, have fun with it. That's basically the whole point of screen printing for me, is just to have fun, and also, of course, like make a business out of it in this sense. Okay, there we go. That's the first print, and then the second print is going on here, which is the brand name and the statement that's a part of this this full print. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm able to accomplish. This one's more simple since it's a smaller print and it's going on just one, one position. So just right there. Set that. I just printed actually the other print right on top, just so I could see where the print is falling. And then the next part, I'm printing right by the pocket. So the first thing, to make sure the pants is gonna sit flat, I'm just pulling the pocket right up. And then I'm just gonna eye it and see where I want the print to go. So for me, you know, I know based on like my initial mock-up, the print is going, yeah, right in this general area, like right here. So, and a trick that I've learned over the, you know, over the I guess the year and two of doing this is just utilizing something like a book or a cutout of a board or anything like that. You just like sneak it right under there. It just makes sure everything is flat, and you could like tuck all of this excessive material like right under it, which will ensure that your garment is flat. And so I'm just gonna print with the book under. But the other thing, you just want to make sure as soon as you're done with the print, you could take the book out so you don't like put it under the heater. You'll ruin your book by doing that. So use anything also within the garment to help you align. So for me, I'm looking at this seam right here. I just want to make sure it's straight, and I could just lift up to see where my print is, and this looks pretty good. Next step is just dropping this right down. I kind of get an idea. It's gonna fall like right here, so I'll just pull it up just a little bit. There we go. That looks pretty good. Again, this is where the one squeegee really comes in handy, because if I'm using my other hand to stabilize the screen on the garment just by applying pressure there, and I could just like do this with just one hand. And the print's small enough to the point where I don't really need much pressure. I just need just one hand will do the trick. So making sure I'm clearing, and then right up. There you go, take out the book. The next step is curing it. And one thing also I've realized over the years too, of printing on different garments, depending on the pattern of the garment, it's going to take the ink differently and the artwork differently. Sometimes when you apply pressure on a garment that's like the threads are running diagonal like this, you could kind of see on the print there's a pattern that's somewhat on the background of it. You can kind of see the lines, because that's only because the threads are running in that direction. Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right, so here's the completed pair. Again, looks very cohesive, and I like the asymmetry too of the. So put it down to examine. Maybe if you close it. I really like the texture on here. It looks really good. Next up, I'm just kind of running, since I have like my first pair, it's looking good. I'm ready to like run production. I have a few pairs of these to print. So Michael's just gonna make a small montage of me just screen printing a bunch.
Yeah, I'm seeing clear now. I got clarity. Look within my eyes, and true desires come with purity. Say it again. Say it again. I know you've been hunting down your past to fight the fears you breathe, 'cause everybody's on your back, saying you've been acting weak. Life works in ways that blows your mind. Damn, that's my day to day. That midnight fever, midnight believer. Don't let 'em in. You're counting down the days till the end. The midnight fever. Baby, life don't work that way. No, don't work that way. Yeah, you know my phone's been on the moon and I'll never get back to you. Silence kills where the words start wars. Say it again. That D&D gonna get in your head now. Just say it again. That midnight fever. That midnight believer. Won't let 'em in. You're counting down the days to the end.
All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, this is a way to make your pants look cooler. I feel like a lot of times, most people have just plain pants. If you went out, it's really hard to find someone who has an interesting pair of pants. But like with screen printing, we really could express our art form and the way we feel onto garments beyond just like a t-shirt and a hoodie. And to me, I really think a cool pair of pants definitely makes the outfit. And a lot of times when I'm, going through my wardrobe, I'm picking up the pants first. Like these pants are what I want to wear today, and then I'll make my outfit around them. So hopefully you guys learned something that you could apply, and I'm excited to see what you guys create with this, and like any techniques that you've picked up from this video, just leave it in the comment below. Start a conversation. Always looking to expand this community of like-minded individuals. We also have a Discord channel. I'll link it below. Feel free to connect with all of us through Instagram. Everyone will be down below in the description. Again, like, subscribe so we can reach more people. Peace out, guys.